She comes across like diamonds, diamonds, easy in love when the lights are low. She comes into focus, focus, the closer she gets, the more I know. She takes more whiskey than I wine.
Last year, there was a release of whiskey from the Ardbeg distillery, and it sold all over the world, and people were able to get it, I think, last spring. Over here, it didn't show up on the shelves. In fact, it was limited to the summer release at BC liquor stores. I'm in British Columbia, in case you didn't know. And the alcohol liquor trade is controlled by the government. The government has a hand in everything. Before things get distributed to BC liquor stores and private liquor stores, it has to come through the government. Now, the government, for some reason, didn't get much of this particular whiskey, and so it was being released only in the summer spirits release. Now, because of this virus thing that's been going around, the system has changed a lot. It used to be that whiskey was sent to the different stores, and there was you would show up at the store and first come, first serve, and that was the end of that. What they did this time, because of the virus and the worries about the virus, is they did an online thing where you could choose the whiskeys you wanted. And if you somehow ended up at the tail end of the draw, I think I was number 65, you didn't get what you wanted. Which is mostly what happened. I wanted to get this whiskey in the worst way, and I could not get it. They wouldn't let me have it because I was number 65. And so the few bottles that there were sold to those who were lucky enough to be higher up in the draw than me. And these people bought the whiskey. Then, okay, too bad, so sad, we couldn't get this, but everywhere, or a lot of other places in the world, this particular whiskey was becoming a core range bottle from the distillery, and we still couldn't get it here. Well, all right. Here at the end of the world, when it comes to whiskey, things take longer to get here, and some things don't get here at all. Things that are commonplace other parts of the world. Well, I had resigned myself to never getting my hands on one of these. Then, after about a month, and I think the date was, yes, the 31st of July, or just before that, it was announced that those of us who had chosen this bottle initially in our online thing were sent email messages alluding to the fact that several cases of this whiskey were found in a warehouse by the store manager from the store local to me, and that all the people who had chosen it in their online raffle thing could come and get theirs. They could come and claim theirs at the store. It was available. I'm speaking of none other than Ardbeg 5 Wee Beastie. Yes, I got myself a bottle. Now, there are some advantages to receiving this later than everyone else. And there are also advantages to taking your time to open it. I received this, like I said, on the 31st of July, and it is now almost half a year later. It is the 2nd of January, so 5 months later. Now I'm going to open it. And the advantage is this. I have seen other people make videos about this whiskey, and some people whose palates and tastes and opinions I respect thought, meh, you can get the 10 for about the same price or maybe a few dollars more, and it's much better. I have seen also videos by people who hate peated whiskey and love this. And people who hate peated whiskey, I don't know, I'm a peat lover, so I just don't understand their view on it. And if they love this, what is going to be my reaction? What will I think of it? I'm in a position where I'm seeing opinions that are all over the map with this particular whiskey, and I don't know what to expect now. I really don't. Will I love it or will I hate it? People who love it, I don't usually agree with them. People who go, meh, I usually agree with them. Will it be a meh experience? Will I love it? We're going to find out. That's the thing about this whiskey hobby, is that it's so subjective, it's all over the place. There are no wrong answers. Ardbeg, 5-year-old, wee Beastie. Real cork. Good. It's a heavy, substantial bottle. There is no box. What you see is what you get. This is as it came. Now, while I let that sit and open up for 5 minutes, or however long, reeking flavor in its path. Explosion de saveur. Okay. There are plenty of things in the world that cannot be fully explained. One such peculiarity has emerged from the peat bogs of Islay, said to be a feisty young creature. Witnesses have spoken of its formidable bite. Okay, there's the French version. Senses are heightened with each encounter. First comes an intense aroma of cracked black pepper. Okay, tasting notes. No, I might read those later. What I'm going to do is see for myself. This was bottled at 47.4% alcohol by volume. This is a 750 milliliter bottle. A monster of a dram and a monster of a dram. In French it says un dram fougueux. Fougueux. I've never heard of that. Fougueux? Fougueux. Fougueux? Is that how you pronounce it? I've never seen that word before in my life. Maybe somebody can fill me in on that. Maybe somebody like Gregoire in France. Fougueux. Okay. I'm getting some light peat smoke. It's not bowling me over. It reminds me of the Islay Mist. Fougueux. Okay. I'm getting a peat smoke, but it's not overpowering, but it's there. Within that peat smoke, there's kind of a lime and lemon citrus note. There's a bit of creosote. There's other smokiness besides that. It's mostly creosote and citrus. Apart from the creosote and citrus, am I getting anything else? Maybe a bit of wood smoke in there with it, but it's hard to pick apart the wood smoke and the peat smoke. They sort of come out as one smoky unit. Still some citrus, not too much though, and a bit of creosote. I'm not getting ashy peat. I'm not getting road tar. I'm just getting some creosote and some citrus. What else am I getting out of this whiskey besides a little bit of creosote and citrus? I don't know. I'm going to have to taste it. Interesting. It has a thick but slippery alkaline mouthfeel. There's a hint of espresso coffee, which I was not getting on the nose at all. And then it finishes dry. Not very complex. It's pretty straightforward. There's that hint of espresso coffee. There is relatively short dry finish. Dry. Very often with peated whiskeys, I still taste the peat after some water. Right now, all I get is dryness. You know, it's quite light tasting for something at 47 point whatever percent alcohol by volume. 47.4. I'm not getting peat smoke on the palate so much as wood smoke. It's like to me, it's like a watered down Kalila 12. It's not that thick. It's surprisingly thin and somewhat smoky. Yeah, it's smoky, but there's a lack of richness that I usually get from Ardbeg. There's a lack of that richness. I think maybe it's because it's only been matured for 5 years. Okay, the finish is lasting a little longer now, but on this second sip I wasn't getting any of that espresso note. It was just like some smoke and poof, it was gone. Okay. Some citrus on the nose now. Now I have become acclimatized to the smoke, so the smoke isn't really bowling me over. It hasn't really bowled me over to begin with. Yes, it was smoky. It's smoky now too. But that's all there is. And the more I taste it, it's less peat smoke and more like wood smoke. I'm not getting any of that tar and creosote complexity. It's just like wood smoke, straight up wood smoke. Now, none of those coffee notes, none of those chocolate notes. It's just surprisingly thin. I would like more richness in my peated whiskey, more thickness, more tar. It's all right. It's good, but I would not go so far as to say it's great. There are much better examples of peated whiskey. But let's see. Ardbeg Wee Beastie 5-year-old, $68.99, so $69. 10-cent bottle deposit. $6.90 liquor tax, $3.45 goods and services tax, $79.44 out the door. So for $80. The Ardbeg 10 is just a touch more expensive and gives a lot more for your money. This is all right. I suppose for people who are not peat heads, this could be an introduction to peat that won't completely kill them. Yeah, there's some smoke, but it lacks the complexity that I like. It's easy enough drinking for 47.4% alcohol by volume. I can say that I like it, but I can't say that I love it. There are other things that I prefer over this. That being said, the things that I prefer over this cost more. Things like my favorite Lagavulin 12. It'll do. It's not my favorite, but it's acceptable. And if I'm having a peated flight, I could enjoy this before going for a Port Charlotte at a higher ABV, or before going cask strength like Lagavulin 12. But, there is smoke, like I said, but it lacks the complexity that I enjoy. And there was some of that espresso and chocolate, but now it's just with smoke. Sluncheva.
Food Quig.
Food quick.
Food quick.
Food Quig.
Food quick.
Yeah.